their number 2 pencil, and then of course I've got a couple of General's pencils here that I'm going to use as well. General's pencils are about equivalent to about a 4B pencil, so if you don't have this pencil, if you have a 4B, that'll work as well. You'll also notice that there's a linear quality about this. So when we add the value, we're going to try to draw the value in according to the cross contours that are there, and luckily these cross contour lines are very clear. And you might notice I'm holding the pencil towards the end of the shaft part of the pencil instead of way down here at the bottom. By holding it way down here at the bottom, I can only really use my wrist to make the marks. By holding it down here at the end, I'm still using predominantly my wrist to make the mark, but I can also pull in the rest of my arm here, and this is going to give me a little bit more fluid marks, and I'm making my directional lines flow in the same direction as the hair flows. I think one of the big secrets to drawing hair, if you will, it's not really a secret, but it's just working slowly. Want to be careful that you don't get too stiff with your marks. A lot of people like to stiffen up, get nervous almost. And while there's a lot of lighter values in here, the color white actually is, there's a couple areas where there might be some value that's very close to white, if not completely white, but it's not that many. And again, it's about the relationships of values. And I love the way the graphite looks on the Bristol paper, the graininess that develops by building up the graphite. There's a little break in the grouping of the hair here. Those breaks are important. And for me, I have to be a little bit careful that I don't get too carried away here with the darker value and make this area up here at the top too dark in value. I do want it to be a little bit darker in value than this section. But one of the ways this section is going to look a little bit lighter is by adding just a couple areas of darker value. A lot of people like to use mechanical pencils as well for this kind of work here. So you can get all those little intricate lines in there. Alright, right underneath this part here, it's pretty dark, and then it starts to get dark again as it wraps around. And of course we can change the shape of things as we go. If we see that the outline that we've drawn here is not quite exactly what we want it to be, we can of course change that as we fill in all the different strands of hair that go along with it here. A little bit of a heavier hand. You might need to lift that value a little bit. And I know that these strands right here are light that come out, but we would only see them by putting contrast behind them. And since we're not going to be doing that for this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of darker value to them, just so that they're a little bit more noticeable. I'm going to make this area up here at the top a little bit darker because this is one of the darker areas in the drawing overall. Alright, let's accentuate that little curl just a little bit further. And I'm just looking for opportunities to make little strands of hair to stand out a little bit more, especially some of these stray pieces. And one thing you'll notice is sometimes the areas that are light turn dark as they curl around or go in the different directions that they go. For example, I'm making this area down here at the bottom come out and making it a little bit darker than what it is in the photo reference. In fact, it's light in the photo reference. I have a couple of areas where you have a broken line here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. have a broken line where there's kind of an implied indication of where the hair continues. Okay, so you got a little bit of a line, leave a little bit of space, and then maybe just another mark there, and that gives us the indication that there's a strand of hair there, areas, and the mid-tone areas, and that little bit of transition will make the hair appear a little bit smoother. But most importantly, I'm filling in those little tiny white areas of texture. All right, let's zoom out here, because I think probably at a point where I would call this little study finished here. So it took us quite a while to just do this small little strand of hair here. So you can imagine if you're doing a whole head of hair, going to have to devote some time and attention to it. But here again, the key to creating that realistic or representational texture is in the relationship of the values. If you enjoyed this video and you're ready to learn more, why not check out 4 video courses, live instruction, and over 6,000 minutes of art instruction, which include ebooks, live lessons, lesson plans, and more. Just click on the button to learn more now.